Welcome back to the Wargrove of Woe. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Stormcast Eternal's Battleline options. Now, this is going to be a two-part series. I'm going to focus on the non-conditional Battleline options here, and then my next video I'll upload will take a look at the conditional stuff. So that's like your dragons and your annihilators and all the jazzy stuff. But without further ado, let's get started. First up is the Sequitors. They have a stat line of 5-inch move, 7 bravery, 2 wounds, and a 4-up save. And moving forward, all of the Battleline options except the Vindictors have the exact same stat line. The Vindictors have a 3-up save. So I will not be going over it exactly. For melee profiles, the Sequitors have the Sacrosanct weapons. They have a 1-inch reach, 2 attacks, 4 attacks for the leader. Or excuse me, that's a typo. It should be 3 attacks. 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 1 rend, 1 damage. They have the Storm Smite Great Mice, 1-inch reach, 2 attacks, 3s for the leader, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 1 rend, 2 damage. So the leader can have the Great Mace or whatever the Sacrosanct weapons plus a redemption cache. So this is kind of a special rule that if the leader forgoes the better profile of the Great Mace and takes the Sacrosanct weapon, he gets the special redemption cache. So slain models cannot be returned to enemy units within 3 inches of the redemption cache. So it's kind of really good against armies that regenerate a lot, think death armies or demons, units that can bring back dead models fairly easily. But beyond that, it's kind of niche. 2 and 5 can have the Great Mace weapon option. And at the start of combat, the Sequitors can give themselves a special buff. They can either give themselves rerolling failed hit rolls or a 5-up ward. Sequitors are a really flexible combat unit. I think they are generally really good. The redemption cache is a little bit niche, but it is good against demons or death. If you're planning on running Sequitors, I would say run in the minimum squad size of 5. I think if you go any larger, you're going to get diminishing returns, and you can still take the 2 and 5, get the Great Mace. So I think Sequitors are a good kind of hammer unit in small batches. Next up is Liberators. They have the same stat line as Sequitors. For melee profiles, they have the Heaven Wrought weapons. They have a 1-inch reach, 2 attacks, 3 for the leader, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, 1 rend, 1 damage. They have the pair of Heaven Wrought weapons, 1-inch reach, 3 attacks, 4 for leader, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, 1 rend, 1 damage. Then they have the Grand weapons, 1-inch reach, 2 attacks, 3 for leader, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 1 rend, 2 damage. You can equip them with either the Heaven Wrought weapons plus Storm Shield or a paired weapon. So what the Storm Shield gives them is they get a +1 to save that targets the unit if half of the models have the shield. 1 and 5 can have the Grand weapon, and the leader can also take the Grand weapon. At the end of the combat phase, you can pick one enemy unit within 1 inch of the Liberators, and one within 6 inches of an objective, and on a 4-up, you can deal D3 mortal wounds. Liberators are your mainline battle infantry. They are going to be fairly cheap compared to other Stormcast units, and they are a versatile objective holder. To maximize their effectiveness, take in squad sizes of 5 to 10. 10 if you really want something to hold the line. And I would always equip the leader with the Grand Hammer because he gets that extra attack. For the rest of the unit, give them the Heaven Wrought weapons and shield for added defense. Next up is the Vindictors. These guys are the stars of the 3.0 launch. They have a slightly better stat line with everything the same except a base 3-up save, which is really good. And for their melee profile, they have Storm Spears, which is 2-inch reach, 2 attacks, 3 for the leader, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 1 rend, 1 damage. For unique abilities, 1 and 5 can have a banner, which gives +1 bravery, and 6s to hit, deal 1 mortal wound. Vindictors are a really versatile and useful Battleline option. I think that these are probably the best ones out of the non-conditional Battleline. They are really good at offense and defense with their armor save, and the 6s to hit deal mortal wounds. Mortal wounds are king right now in 3.0, so having ways to do that on hit is really good. To maximize the efficientness of Vindictors, I would take in squad sizes of 10 to 15. Next up are the Vindictors' brother unit, the Vanquishers. They have a stat line that is the same as all the others except the Vindictors. They have a melee profile of the Celestial Greatsword, 1 inch reach, 2 attacks, 3 for leader, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 1 rend, 1 damage. 1 in 5 can have a banner, which gives them +1 bravery. 1 in 10 can have the banner. And then 1 in 10 can have a herald, and if the unit has a herald, they return models with Rally, the universal command ability, on a 5-up instead of a 6-up. For other abilities that this unit has, they get more attacks if they're targeting big blobs of units. If they're targeting something with 5+ models, they get +1 attack. If they're targeting something with 10+ models, they get 2 more attacks. So really powerful against big blobs of lightly armored infantry. So Vanquishers are pretty generalist, but they are more horde-oriented than Vindictors. But generally speaking, I think Vindictors are better. To maximize the efficientness of Vanquishers, take in squad sizes of 5 to 10. 10 if you really want to make use of the Herald and the Banner. Before I move on, I'd like to give an extra special thanks to our Patreon supporters, especially Nick Hoff. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel. If you are interested in becoming a Patreon, there's a link in the description below. My Patreon backers get various benefits, including special Discord channels that I am more active in, as well as other benefits. Speaking of the Discord, that is a growing community, and there will be a link to the Discord in the description below. Right now, we're running 2 different competitions. We have a painting competition going on, as well as we are planning to run a community tabletop simulator night where it's a raffle style competition where we will choose some people that are going to play against me and some of the Discord members or Patreon backers, etc. So if that sounds interesting to you, check out the Discord. Next up, we have the Judicators with Boltstorm Crossbows. They have a stat line all the same as the other ones, a melee profile with the Storm Gladys, 1 inch reach, 3 attacks, 3s to hit, 4s to wound, 1 rend, 1 damage. For missile profile, you have the Thunderbolt, 18 inch reach, 2 attacks, 3 for the leader, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 2 rend, 2 damage. And then you have the Boltstorm, 18 inch reach, 2 attacks, 3 for the leader, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, no rend, 1 damage. For unique abilities, you have 6s to hit with the Boltstorm Explode, scoring 2 hits, and 1 in 5 can have the Thunderbolt Crossbow. So Judicators with the Crossbow are fairly weak mid-ranged firepower. I generally think that they are not worth it. I would just rather take the Skybolt bow Judicators instead. Yeah, I don't really see a use for them. Next up, we have the better Judicators with Skybolt bows. They have the exact same stat line and the exact same melee profile with the Storm Gladys. Their missile profile is where it gets interesting. They have the Skybolt bow, 24 inch reach, 2 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, 2 rend, 2 damage. And then the Shock bow, 24 inch reach, D6 attacks, 3s to hit, 3s to wound, no rend, 1 damage. 6s to hit with the Skybolt, deal 1 mortal wound, and 1 in 5 can have the Skybolt. So the Judicators with Skybolt bows are really expensive, but they are really powerful. The 6s to hit doing 1 mortal wound is really, really good. The fact that they have a potential for a lot of attacks gives you a lot of opportunities to get those 6s to hit, dealing 1 mortal wound. If you're going to take Judicators with Skybolt bows, I would take in squad sizes of 5 to 10. I think that if you wanted to really stack buffs on them, go with a 10. But really powerful unit. A little expensive though. That is all the unconditional Battleline options for the Stormcast Eternals. I think some of the standout units here for me were the Judicators with bows, the Vindictors, and probably the Sequitors, honestly. At first I was a little bit hesitant about the Sequitors, but they're not too bad. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the unconditional Battleline for Stormcast? Did I get anything wrong? If so, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like or a comment, and if you would like to see more, please consider subscribing. This has been the Wargrove of Woe, and I'll talk to you guys next time.